turn the engine off, take the keys.
What do you want?
Can you take the keys out of the ignition?
No,
please?
I can't.
At the Metropolitan Police Training School in Hendon, North London, a new intake of recruits are 2 weeks into their 18-week course. Today they're getting a taste of some of the problems they'll face on the street.
The vehicle has 2 male occupants. They've been acting suspiciously in a local car park. It's your job to stop the vehicle and speak to the driver and his passenger.
We have age.
No.
Chemistry graduate Mike Walsh is teamed up with one of the youngest members of his class, 19-year-old David Morrie.
OK, let's walk up to the top road here.
That's the one. Excuse me, gentlemen. I've had information, had a report that you've been acting suspiciously in this car.
This is bollocks.
Would you mind stepping out of the car?
Why?
Because I'd like to speak to you.
What do you mean? About what? Nothing to do with the fact that I was nicked last week, I suppose. Is it? What's something funny?
No, sir.
Why are you laughing then? Are you a clown?
No, sir. Would you mind stepping out of the car, please?
Fed up with it.
Both the passenger and driver of the car are police instructors. With a recruit's performance recorded for later feedback, Sergeant Bergen is about to give David and Mike a lesson they're unlikely to forget.
I ain't got to give you your details. Have I? What have I done? Why do you want my details?
Can I take your name, please?
No.
You're refusing to give me your details, sir.
Yeah, I am. What's your name then?
PC Morrie.
Good. You're both a couple of clowns, you two.
Can you just tell me whose car it is? Is that your car?
Put your finger over at me. You what? Don't you bloody stick your finger up at me. No, don't do it.
Sorry about this.
Bollocks, bollocks.
That's all right.
I'm going. I'm going.
Is this your car?
No,
I'm talking to you. Oi, Noddy, I'm talking to you.
Right, is this your car, sir?
Hey?
Is this your car?
Is it
The
my
recruit
car?
should be making sure they can see what both suspects are doing all the time.
Find out, won't
Can I
you?
just have your name,
Hey?
please, sir?
Hey?
Can I have your name, please?
My name? You
Yes,
want
please.
my name? You go... No, no, I'm not going to give you my name. Why have I got to give you my name?
Because I just need to verify it's
Hey?
your car, sir.
Oh, have you? Have you?
Can I just take your name? Could you give me
Hey?
his name, please, sir?
You can't. I'm going.
we need
I've
to
had
get
enough.
out of
I've had
here.
enough.
Okay, can you just come back
Because
into
you
the pavement,
there
please?
are a couple of clowns. You're both dead.
Right, let's just end the road clear there. Step on the footpath, please. OK.
Guys,
Find that.
there's nothing personal, I can assure you. But you are going to get an aggressive, not that was over the top. But you are going to get that, and you're going to have to handle that. I do apologise, but it's a valid lesson learnt here, isn't there?
Yeah.
You won't let that happen again. You've got to be in command. And George said that, but don't
Okay.
take it personally. You're probably seething underneath now. Just learn from it.
Crikey. Didn't have a clue what we were doing. Didn't know what law we could use, we didn't know what our rights were, we didn't know what our powers of arrest were. Weren't watching, I got stabbed, he got slashed and I got stabbed. Credit cards thrown on the floor, none of us saw.
Didn't know what force.
Didn't know whether to take his keys or not, didn't know how to, just didn't have a bloody clue what to do.
And I've taken a real dislike to you too.
One by one, each member of the class pays the price for dropping their guard.
See that?
Nothing suspicious. No one's suspicious.
Sorry, you're dead.
As my colleague has explained to you,
Harinder Babra has 3 years' experience as a part-time volunteer police officer in Yorkshire.
I'll
give
work
him a-
together,
No,
so no matter
no,
what
I'm
our
sorry,
background-
no.
Sorry, mate. Sorry, mate.
Touch me again, I'll have you up for assault.
He already knows some of the basics,
You
Yeah,
what?
well, I can see it, sir. It's just a routine check.
must have all this crap.
but even Harinder doesn't survive.
So, arrestable offence.
You bet.
Come 7 bloody times! Sorry. In all of those, some of you did better than others, but in all of those, you were concentrating on the aggressive person. You cannot afford to drop your guard, because if you do, you may be seriously injured or dead. That makes your partners widows or widowers.
For Jackie Breeze and Claire Keating, the lesson has had quite an impact.
I was sitting here and I took a few minutes out just to actually look out the window and just look at all those houses outside and thinking, you know, God, what am I going into? What am I going
I think
into?
before you come here, people say, you know, you'll have to come up against this, and you think, I can handle it, no problem. But when you get here, it's a lot more scary.
Yeah.
Two defensive stance, go! Scary. OK, the arms are going to be slightly bent. Okay.
While they're at Hendon, the recruits are given lessons on how to protect themselves.
Take hold of them. So those of you that were just standing there saying you're under arrest, yeah, when you're depriving someone of their liberty, we do actually physically take hold. Yeah, you're under arrest, and you're not obliged to say anything. Blah 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 blah. That is the ordinary police hold. And remember, it is pain and rewards. Okay, pain compliance means that we reward good behaviour. Okay, so don't let his fingers go.
Like the majority of instructors at Hendon, Tracy Axton is a serving police officer.
What must the force be?
Reasonable and necessary.
Reasonable and necessary. Happy with that? Back in your lines, please. Some people come here and they've never had any physical contact with someone at all, and they've never dealt with any sort of confrontation before either. So it is important that they deal with that for the first time here.
Left arm out, do not resist. Stand still.
It's not as severe as how it used to be when they used to have to put on a pair of boxing gloves and hit someone and get hit for the first time in their life here. It's not as bad as that, but certainly for a lot of people it is a huge change for them.
Can I try on you, Ashley?
What's that doing up there then?
Right, can they resist me?
Before I came here, I was really worried about the officer's safety. It sounds really stupid, but I was actually worried about getting hurt, which is really sad because we're going out on the streets, but it's actually the best lesson I've had since I've been here, and I really, really enjoyed it. And I'm surprised how easy it is if you get the right bits.
Up until 6 weeks ago, Craig Jones was working at a leisure centre in Manchester.
People who look at police officers, all I thought was, yeah, you'll do a bit of self-defence and you'll take them down the neck and buckle them in, whatever you do.
I am not coming in and striking.
But a lot of the info they were giving you was really good, because sometimes you just think you'd know what to do if someone attacked you. But the way they put it into perspective and they make you think, there is actual rules to keeping yourself safe.
Why are you kicking them? Stop. To stop them, yeah? To stop forward momentum. You're stopping them coming any closer to you. You don't have to run to them to kick them. Is that defensive? No. It's not just a case of showing them how to use force on someone. It's a case of making them think for themselves as to, you know, when they can use it and why they would use it. It's still very difficult for them, I think, until they experience it for themselves, when they actually have to make that decision to strike someone with a baton, for example. But hopefully it's something that we put across to them, that, you know, they are very accountable for whatever they do and that they must justify whatever they do.
The recruits have a lot to learn, and the pace is relentless. By Friday, most are keen to get away for the weekend.
It's going to be the first time in 2 weeks now that I'm going to get to go home. So, really looking forward to that. Can't wait, basically.
Alright, shut up, people. Have a good weekend.
Get up at 6, breakfast 6:45. You're in the class for 8. You finish around 4 o'clock, you have your tea, and then it's back to the books. And all you've got really is your room. You've got a television room. But it's not the place to be on your own, is it, when you're feeling a bit down? So, yeah, can't wait. Get home. Nice bit of cooking. Back to my bedroom.
Drink orange water.
Have a drink of orange.
No, thank you.
You're all right. It's great to be back in Manchester, to hear all the Manc lads. It's brilliant. No more southern accents. See the family, see my mates. No more stress. No more stress for 48 hours. No more shaving for 48 hours.
But to keep up with the work, the recruits have to study at the weekend. Craig's stepmother does what she can to help.
I think it's probably the best thing he's ever done. I think it'll give him a good sense of direction, a sense of purpose. This weekend he seems a little more settled, a little more confident in himself. I think it was probably just a little bit of homesickness to start with. But I'm sure he will be fine.
At Hendon, Mike Walsh is spending the weekend on his own.
You're away all day, are you? Oh, right. I thought I'd sort of planned watching the rugby with you. If you're away all day, I'll just have to... I've sort of been having a couple of thoughts about whether or not I'm going to be as suited to the job as I thought I was. I think I question too much, and I don't think I conform as readily as perhaps they would like.
If it's 51, you look, you'll see there's nothing on there.
It must be equipped with an interior rear-view mirror and at least one exterior rear-view mirror. I'm just worried. I just have my suspicions that my instructors look at me and think he could be a spanner in the works. And if that is the impression that I give at this early stage, then how is it going to affect my career 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the line?
It's the start of a new week, and Craig, back from Manchester, is in for a surprise. Sergeant O'Leary has got some news for the class.
OK, Craig has been selected as your class captain by the staff. And Alison has been selected as your deputy class captain. They have been chosen because I think, and the rest of the members of staff think, that they will be a representative of the whole class.
Class captain, big shock. How can you say no, really? I haven't had this much good luck in ages, so I suppose the times are changing. I might actually finish Hendon.
Although they are leaders of the group in terms of team leaders, and every single member of the team has an important role to play, they do have some authority, and if they tell you to do something, regardless of whether you agree with it at that particular moment, they make the decision and you do what they tell you to do. If afterwards...
To me, it was the fact that because I didn't get it, it made me think, what is it that I've not got, which has made them decide that they're not going to give me that position.
But you all have an individual responsibility.
So I just thought, sod it, I'll go and see Sergeant O'Leary. I didn't want to, I didn't really want to talk about my problems, but I just thought, if I don't, I'm going to end up, I'm going to end up leaving.
Mike comes from an environment where he's very used to speaking, very used to putting his opinions forward.
I have too much to do, honestly. I'm not prepared to give up my evenings for drill.
20 minutes?
No, I'm not, because I've got important stuff to do, and drill isn't important as far as I'm concerned.
I think Mike was trying to do the right thing in bringing forward his opinions, but there was something about him in the way that he delivered them which came across as quite challenging, quite arrogant. And I feel a responsibility to help him to change that.
She did give me a bit of a pep talk and said it's not a major problem, but it is something that it would help you if you could come across in certain situations in a slightly different way. It would benefit you and it perhaps would make other people feel more at ease. That for me is invaluable, so it would be surely in my own interest to listen to what she said.
Meanwhile, Jackie and Claire face a different hurdle. Tomorrow they'll have to take the police fitness test.
But actually, we're really worried about it. We're just so terrified that we don't want to build our hopes up. We don't want to fail and then burst into tears in front of the whole class.
And anyway, aren't we?
I think we're going to cry if we do pass, aren't we? Just sheer relief.
There's no distinguishing endurance levels between men and females. We have to do it as quick as the blokes. But they seem to find it really easy. They all think, they're not even worried.
No.
A-class, the warm-up then for the bleep test, the endurance test. As you know, it's from the blue line.
The fitness test is run by Paul Buckle.
2 blue cones, and then we'll go live with the bleep test itself. 3, 2, 1.
Every recruit has to pass this test. If they fail, it could mean the end of their career.
The fitness test has been designed to replicate the occupational side of policing. The endurance test measures an officer's stamina, aerobic capacity, and that's important because they could be involved in foot chases, they might have to climb stairs, or just walk in the beat.
The recruits have to cross the hall 57 times, racing against an ever faster bleep. As they near the end, things are not going well for Jackie Breeze.
Number 3! And steady! And slow down and walk back to the blue line. Where's number 3? Number 3 was fine. Number 3 was okay. Number 3. Yeah, she passed, yeah. Number 3. You did. The tape, you did.
Jackie had just reached the minimum requirement before she'd stopped. But there are still 2 more tests to go.
Stand by. Go! Straight sprint to the right and around the blue. And the speed and agility test is to prove that an officer can actually get to an incident quickly in a short space of time, and also to be able to negotiate obstacles, for example, pedestrian, parked car, telephone box, or quick change of direction. Okay, unfortunately that was too slow. You scored 27.84.
This time, Jackie has failed. To pass, the recruits must be able to finish in under 27.39 seconds.
27.34. You did it.
There's just 1 more part of the test to get through.
Good.
Claire has to perform 20 press-ups, twice as many as some of the men. The test is designed to show that each recruit, regardless of their size, has the strength to push away an average person weighing 75 kilos.
No, I'm going to have to stop you there. I'm going to stop you there, number 1. I have to stop you there. Unfortunately, you were 4 short, 16.
By the end of the fitness test, 4 of the 5 women in the class have failed.
We've now got a police warning. If we get 2 of those, our services can be dispensed of. We can get sacked, basically, which is ridiculous. Because Jackie failed by less than half a second. I failed by a couple of press-ups, but because of that, we could now be thrown out of the service.
Commander Richard Cullen, who's in charge of training for the Metropolitan Police, is convinced the fitness test is both fair and necessary.
What do you think of this morning? What police officers have to accept, that's male and female, is that violence doesn't discriminate. So a woman officer is as likely to be assaulted as her male colleague. And they actually need to be able to cope with that. They need to be able to understand why they need to be physically fit and physically strong. And that's what the physical tests are designed for.
Claire and Jackie will have to retake the test in 6 weeks.
Again, when you're new to this game, you'll get the whole system right, how to point out the offence, how you stop the vehicle, spoke to the driver.
Within a couple of days, Harinder Bubra has got a far bigger problem with his fitness.
Come in, boys. Oh, sorry, Sergeant.
I'll start last. So what have you done?
Playing football in the gym yesterday. Got about an hour into the game, and as I went to sort of run for the ball, Sam ran in front of me, and as I tried to go past him, I tripped over his back legs.
You haven't seen our doctor, I'll take it.
Yeah, I've been to see the nurse this morning.
Right.
I want to be back in class tomorrow, no matter what. I mean, I've already sort of lost a day today.
Well, I'll be down to the doctor. Hopefully it won't be too long. The only problem that we do face if it goes beyond the week. Well, we'll see what happens tomorrow when you go to the doctors, yeah?
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thanks, Sam. Yeah, bye.
Oh, God.
If Harinder misses too much of the course, he'll have to start again.
What are you going to be doing then, Craig?
Covering you.
Out on the training roads, the rest of the class are putting newly learned traffic theory into practice. Claire has been told to question a man sleeping in his car.
Yes, officer.
Sorry to bother you. Can we just have a chat?
Yeah,
Can you
sure.
just come on the paper?
Does this mean I'm going to go to court?
No, not at all. It just means you've got...
The staff are concerned about the way Claire is dealing with the practical work at Hendon.
Sorry, I need to take a minute.
Okay.
I remember what to say.
People would eat her alive on the street if she giggled and was smiling and very, very soft and gentle with people. There comes a point where, say for instance, stop and search, where you've got to assert some sort of power. You've got to be able to do it and be seen to be doing it as well. And if she can't do that, then she will not make it as a police officer. from our point of view, you've got to start coming round.
Steve Saville has decided it's a problem that needs to be addressed.
Go over the point that if you were called to a pub fight or something like that, how would you respond? You don't have the luxury of saying, I don't want to do this because of whatever reason. Okay.
I think it's just because it's in front of people I now know.
I could foresee a problem with that on the street, because all your colleagues you're going to work with, would you be afraid to do anything because you know them? Would you, if you were out on the street?
I don't know.
You don't know. So this is going to be a problem for us, is it? Or are we going to work on this?
Yeah, we're going to work on it. Yeah.
Once I know you...
I absolutely hate role plays. At the end of last week, I actually wanted to resign because of the role plays. I find them really hard. Not the actual thing. I've got the knowledge. Well, I believe I've got the knowledge. I just can't. I find it really difficult because I find it like play acting.
As Claire and the rest of the class are about to find out, there are good reasons why they must be well prepared.
All of these weapons have at some point been confiscated from people on the street, and they've now been brought up here to use just to highlight them and show them the sort of weapons that they will come across without a shadow of a doubt. I should imagine within their first week on the streets they will come across weapons such as this. Why would anyone want to carry that around the streets of London with them? I'm going to pass them around.
To be able to arrest someone carrying one of these, recruits must be clear about the definitions of offensive weapons.
Causing physical injury, that's not made for causing physical injury. That's made for cutting grass and bamboo and stuff. So that's intended for causing physical injury. Yeah. So it's an offensive weapon, but you've got to decide if it's made, adapted or intended.
There's an awful lot of stuff out there that's now coming out onto the market where, unless you actually examine these things, you'll never know that they are in fact offensive weapons and knives. What some manufacturers have done, oh very nice, thank you very much, is they've produced 2 pens. It looks like 2 pens side by side, and it is in fact a butterfly knife. Yes.
I've never seen anything like any of those weapons, really. It is frightening that people go about with these kind of things. You just can't understand the mentality behind them, really.
At the end of the day, we could actually feel the brunt of them, and some of the weapons that I've handled today. Wouldn't fancy it, would you, boys?
You know, you stop someone on the street, you know, some 16-year-old, you think, you know, of my size, you know, no problems there. Just stand there, turn your back on him, and what's he got in his pocket?
Because of his leg injury, Harinder returned home to spend a couple of days with his family in Leeds.
Food? Oh, no.
I bet you miss that.
Yeah, I do miss home-cooked food. It's not as good as home.
I'm proud of him. He made his mind up. He's going to do that job. He's going to be a policeman. So we are happy, but he wants to be. First, I didn't want him to join the police. I was scared. On TV, I watch Bill. Every week I see how policemen get hurt. And a lot of people, they don't like coloured policemen.
I think they were just a bit worried about that, but you know, like I say, I've never found it difficult to get on with anybody from any race. You know, end of the day, I'm there for a reason. I'm there to do my job, and if I'm doing my job right and I'm performing to my best ability, then I don't think anybody like that would worry me at all.
At the moment, Harinder's biggest worry is that his injured leg might mean he'll have to join a later course.
There.
Right. Okay. Right. You've got to put it into perspective. If you don't let that injury heal properly, you're not only looking at recourse, you're looking at the job. Okay. So although it's everybody's nightmare getting recourse, and it's not even to say that it's going to happen, okay, you know, but let's cross that bridge when we come to it. Okay. We'll just do the short term.
Harinder's signed off for another day.
I'm absolutely gutted. In a way, I'm relieved that I got my fitness test out of the way, but this is something that's going to set me back. Nightmare, mate, nightmare.
Where can you search somebody?
On the street.
The rest of the class are learning about what powers they have to stop and search people on the street.
You're not going to say, right, just for the hell of it, I'm looking for a weapon, you're coming down the station.
In recent years, the Met has faced a great deal of criticism from some of London's ethnic minorities over the use of these powers.
Station to do this. What it means is we must use our skill of either persuasion. When you've run out of persuasion, at some point you've got to put hands on. How much force can you use? Reasonable. Only as much force to achieve your objective. It's absolutely vital that they get stop and search right, especially in the current climate with the Macpherson report, the Lawrence inquiry, etc., and the feeling at the moment how contentious stop and search is. One of the most vital things is getting your reasonable grounds correct. We do not have the power to just go out and carte blanche and randomly search who we like. We must have some objective basis that they are going to be carrying something.
Could I ask you just to turn around, please?
You can ask me.
Yeah, would you turn around, please, sir? Right, OK. Would you mind putting that knife down on the side there for us, please, sir?
What?
Can you put it down for us? In fairness, it's a knife, and I'd like to ask you a few questions. You've got a knife in your hand. I'd like you to put it on the wall for me. Thanks very much. OK, we're from Kingsgate Police Station. I want to just give you a search now. I'm going to search you now.
You want to give me a search?
I'm going to search you now for any...
Stop and search has become the political ping-pong ball, because we've gravitated from we must get rid of this power to the Prime Minister saying this is actually a powerful tool in the police armoury for preventing and detecting crime. Now, what we're seeing out on the streets of London at the moment is officers who are scared to use that power. My hope is that officers from here will actually know how to use the power effectively.
Afternoon, sir. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Can you just tell me what you do with that baseball bat, please?
As far as I can see, all the problem that's been in the press at the moment and recently is to do with people feeling that they've been stopped unlawfully and that they've been stopped because they are from a minority group, whether they be black, Asian or whatever. It is unnerving in a way. It is something that I will be thinking about when I go into something like that. Although you know that what you're doing is right and you've got the powers to back you up, there is always going to be the potential for conflict. But there's nothing that we can do about that. What's our choice? Either we back away from it and say, OK, we're not going to do stop and searches anymore because people are going to play the race card on us or whatever. We shouldn't feel like that. If we know that what we're doing is right, we know we have reasonable grounds, there really is no problem.
Whose mobile phone's that?
For Claire, things are not so clear-cut.
I mean, I would do it if it was necessary, obviously, but I actually feel as if I feel as if we've got a hell of a lot of power, and it can, you know, we could be taking away someone's liberty, and at the moment I don't feel comfortable doing that.
Next week, the course throws up more challenges for the recruits.
Down on the floor, down, down, down!
Ultimately, you won't ever have to use them. I want to diffuse situations, not create them.
It's a pen. It's a pen. It's my pen.